we blew away the clouds to let the sun shine
The conference of the Big Three is over. It was held in the Crimea. Decisions were agreed on final victory, the occupation and control of Germany, and a world organization for keeping the peace. At 9:30 last night, Britain, America, and Russia broadcast a statement by the Big Three conference on its work of the past 8 days.
all the girls are crazy about a certain little lad. Although he's very, very bad, he could be oh so good when he wants to. Better could he understood about
The songs were still cheerful, but as 1945 dawned, everyone was heartily weary of the war. After 5 years, the only wish was for it to end.
I think you got very despondent sometimes, you know, when you read the paper and you found out that there'd been a push somewhere that hadn't come off, or we'd been pushed back from where we'd got to. You did get very despondent then, and then perhaps something else turned up. You'd heard that we'd done something and you sort of felt a bit better about it. But I don't think anybody really thought it was going to last as long as it did.
At home, conditions, far from improving, got worse. The government concentrated its resources on the huge Allied army pushing its way towards Germany. The countries liberated in the advance were in a state of collapse. Britain now had to help feed Europe as well as itself, and rationing would continue long after the war ended. At Chiltern Gardens, Harry Dodson and Landgirl Annie let nothing go to waste.
Oh, yes.
What variety did you say it was?
This is the old Flower of Spring.
Oh, that's right.
It's been around ever since I can remember.
The government renewed its efforts to get people to save fuel, even to the extent of showing them how to cook a cabbage.
You wash and shred coarsely with a sharp knife.
Oh, Arthur, how can I wash it with a sharp knife? Don't be
Oh,
silly.
don't be so silly, Charlie. You don't wash it with a sharp knife. You wash it and then shred it coarsely with a sharp knife.
Oh.
Okay, you do that?
Yes.
Yes, right. Now it says you cook for 10 to 15 minutes in a cupful of water.
Oh, Arthur, I can't get in a cupful of water.
Not you. You don't get into a cupful of water. Put the cabbage in a cupful of water.
I can't get the perishing cabbage in a cup of water.
No. You put the cabbage and the cup of water in the saucepan.
Oh, well, that's different. Why
That's the idea. Well, what's that's the same to you.
Right.
Right, now you got that? Right, put the lid on.
Have you got those veg done, Joyce? Yes. Well, I'll have them now then, please. I think this is where the idea of our modern day have it a little bit crunchy, and they certainly have more flavour. We did used to tend to boil things rather too long. The potatoes are good to scrub, I hope.
Yes, I did.
Good. Yeah. On his little handle, that's what it's there.
One suggested way of saving fuel was to cook everything together. Ruth Mott uses a steamer to prepare a complete meal. The meat pudding goes in first, as this takes the longest to cook. Meanwhile, the vegetables are put into muslin bags to go in the pot when the time is right.
Joyce, come and turn that pan down. We shan't have any gas left at the end of the day. Look at the state of the saucepan, too.
Second to go in are the potatoes, secured to the lid of the steamer. Any saving was important, as the winter was marked by the worst fuel shortage of the war. Coal production had gone down, despite a massive recruitment drive for the mines, including conscription of 17-year-olds. And what coal there was badly distributed. The great trick in using a steamer is to judge the different cooking times each item needs. Only then will everything be ready together.
I think those potatoes must be nearly done now, so We'll put these other vegetables in. You can give me a hand at the stove. And then, you hang on to that plate then. You got hold of that tight?
Yes.
Because it'll be heavy. All right?
It is heavy, isn't it?
Yep.
The gravy and the 2 veg join the meat pudding and the potatoes for the final period of cooking.
So this is our trial run today and see how it works.
It's a good idea, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's quite a good idea. I don't see why it shouldn't work. It's just the question of getting it all worked out in your mind as to how long it's going to take to cook.
Save me on the washing up as well.
Yeah, but you've got a nice black saucepan, so that'll take you, instead of 3, you see, that'll take you just as long to clean.
Oh yes, that's about right. That's got the right moisture in there. That's fine. Mustn't be too dry. It mustn't be too wet. If too dry, the steam won't go through it. And if it's too wet, it clogs and blocks the steam up, and then of course the steam blows off through the back diesel.
It wasn't just people who were weary by 1945. Garden soil had been under relentless pressure to grow more and more, and often became heavily infected with pests and weeds. One way of revitalising it before using it for sowing seeds was to sterilise it with steam.
Well, that's it. It's about its level now, and it'll take roughly about an hour for the steam to come right through. On no account stick your fingers in to see how warm it's getting, because that's highly dangerous. When you see the steam really coming through around the edges and the middle, it pays you to put the shovel in and just turn the top over, as if you were sort of digging the top. Put the top back on again for about another 10 minutes or so, and by then it should be cooked. And by that time, it will have killed off all the harmful bacteria, and it will kill off all the weed seed, which is very important.
Spring brought good news. At the end of March, the Allied armies crossed the Rhine. German resistance started to crumble. Ruth plans a treat.
Pick your elderflowers on a nice dry day. You find them everywhere because the birds carry them and drop them, and then they grow in the crevices of your garden path and behind the stones, so you're constantly pulling them out. Give them a wash, just quickly under the tap, and then dab them dry, and then just pick off the little flowers or nip them off with the scissors and pop them into your batter. They've got quite a strong taste. That the main thing to do, I think, is not to put too many in. I think they're better under-flavoured than over-flavoured, because they are very strong. As you know, if you go down the road and you can smell elderflowers long before you get to them.
The batter Ruth has made is a mixture of flour and dried household milk. As it's a special occasion, she's allowed herself the luxury of using a fresh egg. Delicacies like this were rare in wartime Britain.